I have never been naturally thin. I don't think I ever knew what that felt like. I started dieting sometime in the 1970s doing some kind of strange thing I found in a magazine when I was, I think, in seventh or eighth grade. And I did Weight Watchers early in the day. And we're always counting calories and thinking of things, very self-conscious of what we looked like. But I was never naturally thin. And I wanted to do ballet. I wanted to have that ballerina body. And there was just no way that was going to happen. I did not have that body. That did not work out, but it didn't keep me from trying. And it left me with always feeling like I was big. And I had always to work very, very hard eating non-fat yogurt and rice cakes. And I don't know if any of you remember the ubiquitous half cantaloupe with a scoop of cottage cheese in it kind of thing. Tab, always Tab, the pre-Diet Coke Tab for you millennials out there was a diet soda. A Diet Coke before Diet Coke was called Tab. And I just lived on diet food most of my life and very low calories and popping diuretics and popping laxatives and doing whatever I could to be skinny, but I could never maintain it ever. Somewhere along the way, my body just started betraying me. It started when I was 25, 26. I got pregnant with my son, who's now 35. It's not like I'm carrying baby weight around or anything. I'm 61 and a half, and this was happening when I was 25, 26. So it was a long time ago. This is 1988. When I was pregnant, my body just doubled in size. I went from about 110 to well over 200, gave birth to him at around 220. And I remember the doctor being outside the door saying, she must be eating food in the closet or something. No one gains this much weight. Well, unbeknownst to us, I'd had a pituitary cyst or something going on and all kinds of growth. I ended up being much taller as well. My bones didn't grow all the same lengths, and it left me with a lot of spinal conditions and things going on that over the next 20 years, I ended up having more than a dozen spinal surgeries and a lot of immobility and a lot going on. And my body just never got back to being thin, no matter what I did. I had a full hysterectomy and oophorectomy also at the age of 40 because the pregnancy I'd had was so bad. It left me just ravaged and there was no saving them. They were gone. So I went into early menopause at 40. I woke up in menopause, sweating and not, what all that was about. And I was on HRT for about 15 years after that. When my spine really started falling apart around 2008, I ended up in an electric wheelchair, immobile, close to 280 pounds. Like I tell people, I was one meatball sub away from morbidly obese. And I'm only 5'5". I stretch real hard, 5.5. Was really in a bad way. I had not one, but 3 autoimmune conditions. I was on 23 medications, severe pain all the time, dozens of supplements that weren't doing anything but costing me a lot of money. And at some point, I just felt like a fat houseplant. I just sat there and did nothing but sit in my wheelchair. And my doctor said, you are just gonna die soon. You don't have that much longer to live. He even sent me to a therapist to get used to dying young. My therapist said, I'm not telling you to die young. I'm not going to help you with that. Why don't you go fight? Why don't you go rail against this? And I was just so beaten down and so bullied at that time. And people said the cruelest things to me, not knowing what my health condition was, just seeing the overweight of the person. My inflammation was very out of control, looked very puffy all the time. I mean, I had tried everything. I had tried every possible diet known to man before that because not naturally thin, trying to be a ballerina, that kind of thing. But also during all of this time, I was a gluten-free vegan. I mean, try the restrictions on with that one. And I lived in LA at the time, which is like world headquarters, I think, for social veganism. And so it was easy to find things, but the vegan alternatives really are carbitarian. I mean, I quickly found out that bread and rice and pasta and crackers and all these things, well, they're vegan. I was the worst vegan in the world. The VEG, the veg part of vegan, was lost on me completely. Like, wasn't happening. I was just getting sicker and sicker and more obese. And they were just like, we don't know what we're going to do with you. And it's hard. It's hard to live with that kind of looming thing. I was severely diabetic. My A1C was over 9. And they were just like, you're not going to live very long. Your body's starting to come apart. I had liver problems. I had pancreatic problems. I had kidney problems. I had neurological issues galore from all the spinal surgeries. My body had been ravaged through all of these severe surgeries. Just, I'd been through a lot. And I was there alone in my wheelchair, blah, blah. But something said, look further, look further. And I was up in the middle of the night, as you do when you have problems. You stay up looking at your laptop all night, hoping that something will appear, and something did. I came across a 360-degree solution that really took the whole body. Food is medicine, mindset shifts at its core, and it was like, do that. The other thing that this approach I found talked about was getting inflammation under control. It talked about being able to see your inflammation, your systemic inflammation go down and down. And that was something I was like, oh, that would be really good. That would keep disease from building up in my body. And so I started, and I dropped a chunk of weight, and I dropped a chunk of weight, and it was easier and easier. I could eat to satiety. I never went hungry. You eat until you're full, period. I was like, that's new. I was so used to counting calories and measuring protein to the palm of your hand and how many ounces of this and how many carbs of that and how many grams of this. And I was like, ah. And you're able to eat some carbs. And I wasn't going back to eating all the bread and all the, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there were some carbs involved. It was very easy to maintain. And pretty soon I got up out of my wheelchair. I was on crutches, but I was out of my wheelchair. I went back to physical therapy. My doctor said, yeah, it's not worth going back to physical therapy. What are you trying to regain? Your nerves are permanently damaged. There's no way this, they were just discouraging me to go do this. And I'm like, well, just write the prescription. Let, insurance duke it out. And if something comes of it, yay. If not, fine. I'll pay the insurance premium, whatever. And I went and I went and I went 6, 8 months, a year, 2 years, and slowly, 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 I increased the time I could stand. And my weight was going down and down. And I got to about 190. I got just below 200 into Wonderland. I'm like, yeah, I'm in Wonderland. I was buying clothes off the rack. I was feeling so much better in my own skin. I was starting to wear makeup and take care of myself and feel like a woman again. I thought I was done. And my doctor's like, you're still obese. I'm like, well, that's rude. He goes, it's not rude. It's a diagnosis. Obesity is a diagnosis. There are 11 types of cancers associated with diabetes. Keep going. So I went back to the drawing board, went back to the same program. I went back to basics. I got into weight loss instead of maintenance again. Kept going, kept losing weight, losing weight, losing weight, losing weight. I moved up to Portland to be near my son. I do have days when I'm in a wheelchair, but it's a manual wheelchair. I do have severe spinal damage. So, I have that to deal with. But you know what? I get up, and I have some times when I can get up on my feet and walk around during the day. And I have crutches I use and everything, but I get around and I travel and I do things. I go to galleries. I go to the movies. I go out. I go out to dinner. I'm in the world again. I'm not a fat house plant anymore. And at one point, it was during COVID, right at the beginning, I'm like, this transformation is pretty insane. And I kept going and going and going. I ended up losing 130 pounds total, and I've kept it off effortlessly. I eat everything's not nailed down, and people are like, are you sure you're on a diet? And I'm like, nope, I'm not on a diet. I'm just being healthy. And they're like, okay. But it's people are just waiting for me to get big again. But I'm in a set point, and I've been a set point for so long, it's hard for me to gain weight or lose weight anymore. But the transformation was far more than just what size jeans I'm in. I'm in my size 6 or 8 jeans. I tuck my white shirt in with the belt and the whole thing. And I feel like, look at me in my little outfit. And a lot of pictures of me like that. And I was liking taking pictures again. It was nice to kind of like what you see, because we live in a time of the selfie rules. And I never wanted to be in pictures. I was always hiding behind people and making weird positions with my hands and stuff to cover myself up. I have my health issues. I have things still going on, but I live my life. And I went back during COVID to get my health and wellness coach degree. And I found a serious place to be, to really learn, because if I'm going to work with someone else's health, I'm going to take it seriously. I'm going to take it seriously. I didn't want to be some keto cheerleader going, oh, I lost 5 pounds. I can show you how. If I'm going to do it, I wanted to really, really, really make a difference in people's lives. And I got my mindfulness meditation instruction certification. I got my human gut microbiome certification. And I started building up the education and the qualifications to really, truly take the 360-degree holistic solution that I knew was the right answer, where food is medicine and mindset shifts are at the core of what's going on. And it's very, very simple. I tell people often it's a journey of 6 inches. They look at me and I said, it's between here and here. 6 inches, right? 6 inches between what's in my head, what goes in my mouth. Because the only way the food that makes me sick gets into my body, or the sugars or the processed foods or the industrial seed oils and all those things that make you sick, the only way that gets into my body is through my mouth. Otherwise, it's sitting on the table. My mind is what makes the decision of what to put in my mouth. It's a 6-inch decision. And people look at me funny when I say that and I explain that, but it's so simple, but so, so, so profound, truly profound. And I wanted that for other people. And I've helped thousands of women. I have had dozens and dozens and dozens, 100 and something private clients. We have group clients. We have big speaking engagements we do in summits and all kinds of big events where we can get together now, virtually and otherwise. I've helped so many women, truly found a new chapter in my life, that I get to do this with my life. Helping other people and seeing these huge changes for other people. This is such a blessing and such a wonderful way to live. And that I get to do this every day and wake up and do this is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So if this is something that, like, I'd really like to have that transformation that Sheila had. I don't know if I can. I don't know if it's possible. I have this barrier. I have that problem. I have this roadblock or that illness or this thing going on. Don't think that way. Click the link. I'm going to put a little dooha underneath here with a tiny URL that you can go to and take a wellness strategy session with me. It's a free, no obligation coaching call where we can unpack what some of your health issues, barriers, wellness challenges have been on your journey. You may feel like there is no option for you and you've been up at night looking for something. Maybe you come across this video. Maybe it's like, oh, I feel like a fat house plant too. I think I'm going to play that. And I hope it speaks to you like the things that I heard spoke to me. And I hope that you do reach out, because I'd love to have a free one-on-one coaching session with you where we can see, are you a good candidate for what I did? Some people aren't. And I'm very happy to see if possibly there's something I can refer you to. I've referred out to friends and colleagues and different programs that I think might be a better fit for you. But you'll answer some questions when you click through on this link down below, and we can talk. We can see, is that something that works for you or not? Are you ready? Have you had it? Are you sick and tired enough of being sick and tired to really want to choose a new direction? Because if you do not change the direction you're going in, you are bound to end up where you're heading. And if you don't like where you're heading right now, you need to change direction. Maybe this is it. You can make this appointment. We can talk. Get a coaching session. See what it's like with a coach. A coach is very different. I wish I'd had a coach. I became the coach that I wish I had had during my transformation. We hold your hand and we hold you accountable. It really is wonderful. And I hope I get to chat with you, and take care. And I hope that you someday get out of feeling like a fat house plant yourself and feeling sick and like your life is short, not worth even hanging around for. And down below, I hope you end up being one of my success stories someday. That would be fantastic. So take care. I hope to see you in session, and enjoy Reboot TV and everything we have here. Watch everything. There's a lot you can learn from the videos, and we'll chat soon. Take care. Bye now. Be well.